Hey, Rick Sayes here. Welcome to another episode of the Outdoor Biz Podcast, where I hope to provide entertaining conversations with retailers, brand managers, athletes, executives, and others in the outdoor biz to get their stories, tips, strategies, productivity tricks, and ideas that you can apply and take your career or business to the next level. This episode is brought to you by Rumpel. I use my Rumpel blanket on chilly photo shoot mornings making coffee. I love it. My Rumpel blanket takes the chill off while I'm waiting for the water to boil. It also keeps me toasty stargazing at night. Get 15% off your Rumpel blanket with code OutdoorBizPod at rumpel.com. That's OUTDOORBIZPOD for 15% off your next Rumpel blanket at RUMPL.com. Hey guys, this episode is with Paul Petersen. Paul was one of the early members of PSIA, the Professional Ski Instructors of America, and currently operates the Bear Valley Cross Country and Adventure Company with his wife Diane. If you ever find yourself on Highway 4 near Ebbets Pass, be sure and stop in. Today I'm speaking with my good friend Paul Petersen from the Bear Valley Cross Country and Adventure Company on Highway 4 in Bear Valley, California. How's it going, Paul? Welcome to the show.
Hey, thanks for having me. Nice to talk to you.
Yeah, so you guys getting any weather over there today? We got a little white stuff on the peaks down here in Bishop.
Well, we did. We got a little snow, summer snow, I guess the last day of summer.
Yeah.
And at 7,100 feet here, I'm looking at white as we speak.
Wow, interesting. So we might have is you guys still seeing big winter forecast on what you were telling me the other day? You're looking for a big winter again.
If I were a betting man, I would say get ready for a big winter.
Really? Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Wow. All right. That's our guy over here is not saying that yet. He's pretty cagey, so they're hedging their bets. So let's start with your first exposure to the outdoors. What was that?
Well, my folks were from Scandinavia, and they my dad was from Norway, mother was from Denmark. They were both skiers, so we would go skiing. They started me up at about 3 years old. So
wow,
that's probably my first exposure to getting outdoors and playing in the mountains.
Yeah. And then did you carry on and do other things other than skiing, or was it mostly skiing?
Well, so as time marched on, they had me in Cub Scouts and Boy Scouts, and our Boy Scout troop was very active. We did 80-mile canoe trips and 60-mile backpack trips, and that led to interest in rock climbing and things of that nature. And then I also sort of fell into cycling as I became a young man, and parents supported me on that. And so that was
so well-rounded. You did a little of everything.
Yeah, California's so great about having all these activities available to us.
Yeah.
From the mountains to the coast and everything in between. Between Yosemite Valley for the world-class climbing,
right,
and doing bike rides down the coast of California, and
right.
Just the rivers for the canoeing, and then of course our skiing is on par with any country in the world for quality.
Yeah, when we have snow. Yeah, that's right. Yeah. So speaking of skiing, so you were on a PSIA international team, correct?
Yeah, it's considered a national team, but every 4 years the national team meets with other national teams from all the skiing nations, and they do a big soiree called Interski. And I got to represent the United States at 3 of those, one in Japan, one in St. Anton, Austria, and one in British Columbia, Canada.
Wow, very cool.
So, yeah, it's sort of an educational team. The team's charged with developing teaching systems for the team I was on for cross-country skiing and telemark skiing.
Oh, gotcha, right.
And there's other teams that PSIA, Professional Ski Instructors America, has for alpine skiing and snowboarding, junior education as well. So,
gotcha.
As well as an adaptive team. So
that's cool.
Yeah, it was a great experience. Did that for 12 years. And,
wow.
had I'm still involved in that organization. It's it's part of what what you're supposed to do when you get good at something is find ways to give back, and one way to do that is through teaching and teaching the sport. And so that was a good run, and just a couple of years ago got my 40-year pin, so I'm still involved.
Nice, congratulations. Yeah, cool. Yeah, and you said you were working with some of the manufacturers trying to figure out how to make ski equipment easier to use.
Yeah, a number of years ago, one manufacturer, Fisher, came up with a ski that was really short and 147 centimeters long, and tried to debut that as a real revolutionary ski, make it easier to go track skiing and turn and stop and have fun and fall down less. And those are all goals most people have, and so the things were too short.
Oh, really?
In my opinion. So I went to Rosenall and I said, look, we need two things here. We need a boot that's more supportive, that gives you sort of telemark ski boot support on a track ski, but still comfortable and flexible. And then we need to make the ski somewhere between those little shorties and conventional length, which is raising your hand way over your head. So we asked Rosenall to develop what became known as a mid-length ski, and we tested them in the summer up here, and became the first skier in America to rent these things.
Cool.
Grabbed 300 pairs and started renting 180s, and then that evolved into 170, 180, 190, 200. And bottom line is, the ski got a little stiffer, got the same amount of glide out of a shorter ski, and yet it was now easier to stop and turn.
Oh, right. That wasn't so, right.
Yeah, we're no longer on 210s,
Yeah, right.
I weigh 150 pounds, so I'd go on a 180 or a 190, depending upon, how much glide I wanted.
Right. Nice. And so Bear Valley Cross Country and Adventure, you guys do a lot of, obviously, skiing in the winter and mountain bike in the summer. Tell us a little bit about that business. And how long have you been in that business?
Well,
long time.
Long time. Yeah, 4 decades.
Wow, awesome. Congratulations.
I started down in the Bay Area as a rental clerk and a 16-year-old at a ski shop called Any Mountain, which is now part of the Vail Empire, I believe.
Right, I think so, right.
And then some of the shop guys said, hey, let's go to Bear Valley and spend the winter up there. And so did that. And I came back for a quarter college and took advanced mountaineering and other stuff that all just pointed me back to the mountains. So came back to Bear Valley area and was hired as a Nordic director as a young man. I was 20 years old.
Oh, wow.
And then over time it became my business. And so that's been, a little over 40 years.
And was it always in the valley there, or did you first have your setup up on the mountain at the ski area?
Well, so I was involved with the mountain from the standpoint I taught downhill skiing up there,
right?
Alpine skiing on the weekends, and I was starting to teach cross country midweek, and worked at a mountaineering shop in Sonora, and was going to college at a little college called Columbia College. And,
yeah, right.
Then they needed a Nordic director, and I had passed some certifications and had the interest, and so that led to sort of ownership, and went from a winter operation to year round when mountain biking first came on the scene in the 80s.
Yeah.
We embraced that, and that was like, summer skiing.
Right.
You got your downhill thrills, and, but like cross country, you could climb up and kind of have fun in a skiing, kind of a cross country skiing way on your bike. And then the rotomolded kayaks started hitting the whitewater market, and then they hit the flat water market,
right?
And then flat water kayaking took off, and we've got some great lakes around here, so we embrace that. And our mountain bike center turned into an adventure company as we started facilitating both kayaking and mountain bike rentals and sales and service. And so we got a nice little year-round gig. We help people get outdoors in all sorts of different ways.
Yeah.
It's been
yeah, it's awesome.
great.
You guys have a great playground up there. I mean, obviously I've paddled, and I haven't mountain biked, but I've hiked a bunch of trails and paddled, and it's awesome.
Well, we're surrounded by 2 wilderness areas. So for the hikers, got the Tahoe Yosemite Trail that goes right through the area here, and got these great wilderness areas. And then there's, over 100 miles of mountain bike routes right out of our parking lot. And then the kayaking, I've got friends from Tahoe that will come down here and kayak the lakes here and bring their mountain bikes and their road bikes just because it's nice, it's uncrowded, it's got a nice feel to it.
You don't have the traffic getting in and out that you do in Tahoe,
Yeah. So, it's been a nice place to live, and, it's a great place to visit.
Yeah.
Our company, is firing on enough cylinders that it's, a sustainable business that, it's just sort of perfect for the outdoor assets that we have around here.
Yeah. Well, and it's good that it's year round. You take a little break in between seasons to flip the business to winter or summer, but you have year round recreation. That's awesome. And the mountain seems to be evolving. They've gone through some recent, changes, and still more changes to come. The whole ski business is changing like crazy, I think.
Well, it is. It's evolving, trying to get its arms around, from everything from economic downturn cycles to climate change with, no snow years and reliance on snowmaking, and then just, part of the dynamic in California right now is it's getting more and more difficult just to get out of the Bay Area and to get to your cabin or your condo and get out in the High Sierra and play. And that, doesn't go in the plus column of ski areas anywhere.
Right.
So, the capitalization required for these high-speed detachable chairs and, the amenities that people expect in an alpine area, especially with key players like Heavenly and Squaw and, big.
These big guys are snatching up all these ski areas. It's amazing. They're just creating these. They're doing the same thing to the ski business that they're doing to the outdoor industry, buying up all these brands, and it's pretty interesting.
Yeah, there's some economy of scale that goes on when you do that. And, our big deal here is, as we compete with those bigger places is we still have the vibe that people are after of what feels a little more like a family run area.
Yeah.
You can talk to the owners and operators, and they've been there forever,
Yeah.
The gal that's managing the ski area, she's worked there, I think, 27 years.
Awesome. Yeah.
Kind of grew up there. And, but when it comes time, they're putting in a high-speed detachable this summer. And,
I saw that.
When time to capitalize something like that, it's, if they don't have a great winter, they do have a couple other ski areas, so that they're not a one ski area.
Right.
They're just not a big player. They're a pretty small player.
Right.
It's risky, and so we're hoping for the best. We're hoping for a nice big snow winter that'll make downhill mountain look good.
Yeah, that'll keep it. It always keeps everybody happy. Same thing over here in Mammoth. As long as they get a lot of snow, then the world's happy. When they're moving snow around like you guys and struggling, better than I. It's just it's a battle every day.
Well, it's sort of a battle of passion,
Yeah, right.
The sport of skiing is like no other,
Yeah.
the joy of sliding on two skis, or a snowboard for that matter,
Yeah, it's pretty
is
unique.
it's pretty unique, and it's tough to beat.
Yeah, yeah.
So, I think we're going to be okay up here in this industry. There's just nothing else like it that's going to take it out.
That's right. Yeah. So, do you have any suggestions or advice for folks wanting to either start a career in the ski or outdoor biz, or get in, grow a career?
Well, it starts with just that there is an outdoor industry, as you well know, that has all sorts of different career pathways. And,
Yeah.
I've had my ski school director here went on to run ski areas. Then he took on, Rosignol,
Oh, wow.
was the CEO, president of Rosignol. Now then he went back to K2, and, he was just a ski instructor. So
Yeah, yeah.
you start wherever you start,
Right.
and you're, whether it's working in a ski shop or, repping for a company. And then there are definitely opportunities that come up that can go big. Another buddy of mine, Casey Sheehan, he used to pal around Bear Valley. We did all sorts of cross-country skiing together. And,
Yeah.
he went on to run a couple of small companies like Kelty and Patagonia.
Yeah, tiny little brands. Yeah. Now he's running a small brand up there called Keen.
Yeah, is that right? He's back in
footwear. Yeah, I think he's president of Keen. Yeah, yeah.
Well, he had a stint with Merrill. He helped Nike launch their all conditions gear, and he's just a regular guy with outdoor interests like us.
Yeah.
But you stay smart about it, and you play your opportunities, and don't be afraid to move around a little bit. And there's some pretty good careers that come out of this.
Yeah, that's
this
right.
industry.
Yeah, you're right. We've known quite a few guys.
A lot of different ways to play it too.
Yeah.
You can. Yeah. You've got cycling. You've got. Just as far as bike shops and that kind of play.
Right.
You've got ski shops at resorts. You've got city shops. My brother worked for REI for 28 years.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
There's career paths in REI where you have these well-managed companies that, will bring you up and train you and put you kind of wherever you want to be. And,
no, that's a good point. Yeah, that's good advice. Yeah. Just jump in and follow your passions. So, what was your last adventure?
Well,
you had something recently, right?
Few days ago, my wife and I went to the Pacific Coast and cycled our road bikes on Highway 1 while it was still closed.
Oh, very cool.
There's a section between Big Sur and Gorda that is basically almost impossible to get to. You can't go north or south of there. And so there's very, very little traffic, just a few locals run around. So we had Highway 1 to ourselves.
Wow, nice.
Years ago, I rode my bike from Seattle down to Sunnyvale on that coast road. And, I mean, I don't think I could do that right now. It's so busy.
Yeah.
It's, so crazy, dangerous to ride it in that kind of mode. With my wife.
Yeah.
That was pretty special, and the weather was great. And, so that was my latest little adventure.
That's very cool. Yeah.
Try and weave stuff like that in, just unique, interesting things.
And what's next?
Well, we maybe have an easy grab. When you live in the mountains like this, 7,100 feet, it's nice to get away to tropical environments. So I think in a couple of weeks, we're going to fly to Hawaii, do some surfing, snorkeling, bike riding, kayaking, that kind of stuff.
Very cool.
And Maui is I think that plane ticket's going to get bought today.
Nice. Just get a little sun and sand before the white stuff hits, huh?
Yeah, the bottom line with Bear Valley, it's a small town.
Yeah,
Many of these mountain towns are, pretty small. You know exactly what your neighbor's doing and what's going on.
Right.
And so to keep all that good and interesting, you got to get out of town, and you got to do that on a regular basis. And one trick is to do the tropical thing,
right.
whether it's Baja or Hawaii. We can fly out of Sacramento and just go straight to Maui, and it's a 5-hour flight.
Nice.
California's kind of easy that way.
Yeah.
And so that's that kind of adventure, a little softer adventure at 59 years old than some of the crazy stuff I used to always have to do when I was a little younger.
And so what other outdoor activities do you still participate in? I mean, when you go to Hawaii, do you surf?
Yeah, try
cool.
to.
Yeah, all right.
Yeah, surf or windsurf.
Uh-huh.
I have taken one kiteboarding lesson in Hawaii, but didn't really buy all the gear and get the experience I need
My
yet.
brother's just getting into that. Somebody has hooked him up, and he's whole hog into that now. He loves it.
Well, yeah, the surfing's good. It's what I find out about surfing is it's the most challenging balance sport of them all.
Yep, I agree.
The mountain's moving, the board's a little wobbly. There's
You're a little wobbly.
There's a lot of people in the water if it's a good surf spot.
That's
right. You got to be safe and not pack in too hard on the coral reef. And there's all these dynamics, and I just find that fascinating.
Yeah, it's very fun. Yeah.
I do have a surfboard that I own, and do a little bit in California here, and I've done some trips to Baja and Hawaii.
Cool. And you still do some climbing?
Yeah, I just kind of recently rebooted all my gear, got a new rope, got some cams, and just a few other things. I got into that early on and took it to a pretty high level, did El Cap and Leaning Tower, stuff like that when I was younger. And I don't really need to do that big wall stuff anymore, but to be able to go to Yosemite, have the skills and know how to place the pro, do the leads, and have the right modern shoes, and just be safe. And that's fun for me to still do. It's great exercise, and feel like I still can do it safely. And when that goes away, then I'll bag it. But
yeah, that's great.
For now,
cool.
Then I spent a fair amount of time whitewater kayaking and did some river rafting. Got a chance to row down the Grand Canyon once, and
cool.
I just saw somebody had paddled a double sea kayak down the Grand Canyon, which kind of blew my mind. I've heard of single sea kayaks going down that sucker, but
I just got a hold of the book, The Emerald Mile. Just started it last night, about those guys that did the high speed trip down the Grand Canyon, super high water, back in 1983, I think it was.
I remember that. Yeah, that's probably a good read.
Yeah, hopefully. Yeah. Speaking of books, do you have any favorite outdoor books, adventure books?
Well, I like Chenard's book, the Let My People Go Surfing.
That's a good one, yeah.
That's a classic. And then Krakauer's Into Thin Air.
Yeah.
That was tough to put down. I'm presently reading a Thor Heyerdahl book where he goes and lives on an island with basically nothing but a knife and a few other little things and a girlfriend.
Oh, wow.
And
what's the name of that? I'll look that up.
Fatu Hiva.
Okay. Oh.
And that's the island he goes to. He picks an island in the Polynesia, Tahiti area, and sails a sailboat all the way from Norway.
Wow.
To this island with this Norwegian. I think they got married, actually. And, but first he has to, it's this 20-year-old gal has to tell her father that he's taking this gal on this sort of socio-scientific experiment
Nice.
of living off of nature for, a couple of years.
Wow. I'll
So
look that up. That sounds good.
Yeah,
He does good books.
He does. I'm impressed with how easy it is to read his stuff.
Yeah. And do you give books as gifts very often?
Not really.
Yeah. No.
No.
Yeah.
I gave The Millionaire Next Door to somebody once, but I don't know if you've ever read that book.
I have read that. It's an interesting read. Yeah.
Yeah. That gets you thinking about some stuff.
And how about your best outdoor gear purchase under $100?
My best outdoor gear purchase under $100. God, what did I do recently? Just got a new pair of running shoes, but I wouldn't call that my best. One of the things that I really like is these Lucy lanterns.
Oh, yeah.
I've got now 4 or 5 of those.
Yeah, those are awesome.
And those are well under, they're solar lanterns that are sort of inflatable. You can hang them from your tent. You can put them on a picnic table. You can.
I've got one in the back of my truck in the shelf for when I camp. Just turn that thing on and you're good.
Yeah, our power goes out from time to time up here, and we just deploy those.
That's a good idea.
4 or 5 of those here and there, and so
light the house.
The other thing that I've recently started using and bought was just these miniature little flashing lights for the road bike.
Oh, okay.
They're LED, and you can buy them in sets with white in the front and red in the back. Oh. And it's taken the whole level of safety for being in a shared environment with cars up to a whole new level of safety.
That's good. That's good.
Highly recommend those things to anybody that doesn't have them.
Cool.
There's bigger, bulkier ones, and then there's some really small ones that you can strap on a nice bike and you can't hardly even see them. Yeah. They don't weigh anything, but when you're driving a car and you see one of those suckers and you got a bike in the shade and the guy's got some dark clothing on,
right?
You know to give him 3 feet because he's got his blinker on,
And is there a particular brand that you recommend or sell, or I'll put a link to in the show notes to?
I don't. We carry Specialized. Specialized makes a little kit, but there's I can't remember who makes the really small ones. There's one that's got kind of a rubber band mount.
Gotcha.
I can look it up and get it to you.
Yeah, do that. Yeah, and I'll put a link to it in the show notes. Yeah, cool. And do you have any other tools or podcasts or apps or meditation you use to stay motivated or productive, or just getting outside every day?
Well, my main thing that I get to do is I wake up to pine trees and meadows. And so for me, it's get outdoors, get, like John Muir used to say, let the wind blow energy into you.
Nice, yeah.
And that's really my primary motivation is get a good bike ride, get a good hike, get a good adventure in, and then the next day at work is just that much better.
Right. That's good. Yeah, I like that. That's awesome. Anything else you want to say to our audience or ask of our audience?
Well, it's an outdoor industry deal. You heard it here first. One of the things that my wife and I are embarking on is we're ready to pass this business of ours on to the next generation.
Cool.
And so after 4 decades, Paul and Diane Petersen have announced the sale of Bear Valley Cross Country and Adventure Company. And
there you go.
We've put the word out in the small ways in the outdoor industry, but we're going to get a little more serious. We've been talking about it for a few years.
Yeah.
We've got a $1 million a year business that has allowed us nice lifestyle.
Great lifestyle,
and
yeah.
Met lots of great people like you and
Yeah.
some of our friends. And so we're not going to leave Bear Valley so much as we're just ready for, somebody to take it from here.
There you go. Yeah.
I think there's room to grow things. There's some opportunity here in California with the population growing and, sort of re-interest in outdoors and skiing.
Yeah.
Well,
there you go, folks. You heard it here first. If you are looking for something to do, there's a business for sale in Bear Valley, and it's a great going concern. I can tell you that. That's awesome. Well, congratulations.
Well, thanks for that. We will start popping corks as soon as escrow closes. Right now, we're just, we're getting ready for winter. That's what you do this time of year. And getting everything ready because it's all going to get buried, and then we're going to start that super fun sliding on snow thing. And,
that's right. Yeah, that's right. Awesome.
Life will be good.
Yeah. And how can people find you? Can they get a hold of you on your website, or what's the best way for them to reach out?
Yeah, our website is, leads to emails, addresses, and phone numbers and all that. So Bear Valley XC. X as in X-ray and C as in cat. So bearvalleyxc.com is our website address. And
we'll put a link to that in the show notes too. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good way. And or come on up and walk in the store and say hi.
That's a better way. Exactly. Go play. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that's what you did the other day.
That's right. I didn't get to play much, but I was passing through. Yeah. I'll be back. Well, that's awesome. Well, thanks for the time. I appreciate it. Congratulations on the announcement of the sale. I'm sure that'll turn pretty quick. You got a great business over there. So, yeah.
Well, thanks for that. And thanks for doing these podcasts. This is a great way to get interesting information out to, people that want to know and grow about this great industry.
Yeah.
So
it's been super
much
fun.
Appreciated what you're doing.
Awesome. Thanks. Yep. And I'll see you guys next time I'm over the hill. I saw the passes are all closed today, so it probably won't be this week, but I'll be back over there shortly. Maybe Thanksgiving.
That sounds great.
Yeah,
Look forward to seeing you.
All right. Thanks, Paul.
Thank you, Rick.
All right. Talk to you later. Bye. All right. I hope you enjoyed that conversation with Paul Petersen. You can reach Paul at their website, bearvalleyxc.com. That's Bear Valley, X is in X-ray and C is in Charlie.com. Or better yet, head up there and go for a bike, ski, or paddle. You'll have a blast. You'll find links to all the info we discussed in the show notes at theoutdoorbizpodcast.com/episodes/040. I'd be stoked if you shared your favorite episodes on the socials, and until next time, thank you so much for listening. Today's podcast is brought to you by Audible. I've used Audible for many years now. I'm on the road a lot, and Audible allows me to enjoy the great books I discover or are recommended by friends. Get a free audiobook download and 30-day free trial at www.audibletrial.com/theoutdoorBizPodcast. There are over 180,000 titles to choose from for your iPhone, Android, Kindle, or MP3 player. Start your 30-day free trial with Audible today. If you want more of the Outdoor Biz Podcast, you can subscribe on iTunes and Stitcher, or go to theoutdoorbizpodcast.com, where you find all the episodes, show notes, and much, much more. You can find us on Facebook and Instagram at The Outdoor Biz Podcast, Twitter at Rick_Saez, that's S-A-E-Z, and my email is rick@theoutdoorbizpodcast.com. Thanks for listening and all the support, and a huge shout out to all my guests, and until next time, be sure to make time to get outside.